Ladies and gentlemen, this is Independent Raw from bballaddicts.com. And today, on the phone, I have a sports agent, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So without further ado, may you introduce yourself to the listeners?
Alrighty. My name is Danny Gilmore. I am a certified NBA agent from Detroit, but my agency is based out of Houston.
Okay. And as a female, right? Let's make that clear. You're a female agent, and you're pretty much in a field that's dominated by men. The first question that comes to mind to me is like, how challenging or non-challenging could something like that be?
It's very challenging. Mainly because guys always look at females as being, since you're a chick, how can we work together without dating or trying to date, or anywhere in the mix is being thrown up, as far as let's go out, or we doing business together, let's have a drink, or let's go out for lunch. And it's kind of like, man, if I was a guy, you wouldn't have asked that.
Okay, and now and are we referring to the clients? Prospective clients,
coaches, scouts, trainers. You get it from everywhere.
Okay, cool. And speaking on it, I want to touch on the clients. What exactly are you looking for when you're looking for clients? What are you looking for?
Normally I look for, if he played at a D1 university, what his stats are they good, how tall he is. At this point, most teams want, somebody that's tall, especially when we're talking about overseas basketball. Most teams want, a tall guy. I look for what their attitude, attitudes mean a lot, because I've dealt with players who were great players, but their attitude was crappy, and I had to deal with that. So now I look for players that, are mature in the sport, because a lot of guys are young, so they're still immature. But yeah, I normally look for them to be top players, because at this point in my career, I have to, go after the top tier players at this point, being a chick and everything. So, yeah.
Okay, so and when you get these players, exactly what service do you offer them?
Now, normally when it comes to an agency, we offer like marketing and player representation. So I negotiate the contract. I do all their PR work. Agents, we do anywhere from marketing the player to picking their kids up from school if they need it. You know what I mean? Like, as an agent, you're like their best friend. You're pretty much their everything.
Okay, and that's cool. And I noticed you said males. What about females? Do you represent females? Or are you interested in representing females in the future?
Well, actually, the agency, we do have a lot of female clientele. I do not represent females. I haven't ran across one that I actually felt like, I really want to represent her. So I just never really paid attention to it. My partner's sister is a WNBA agent, and she handles all of the female sports. So I don't really too much touch the female sports. Yeah.
Okay, what about like coaches? Because I know coaches need some type of representation too, right?
Yep. Just lately, the funny thing is, a lot of coaches have been contacting me about representation, and theirs kind of go the same way as a player. To me, I personally think it can sometimes be a little bit more difficult to place a coach. But when coaches normally come to me asking me for representation, I treat them the same way as a player. But to me, it's just harder, because a lot of teams, just like here in the United States or wherever, teams have a set coaches, and most of the time those jobs are not open as easily as a player position would be open. So yeah, so that's a challenging one when you represent coaches.
Okay, so you basically saying, like, if a guy's a good coach over here, what is his chances of landing a job like overseas? What is the probability of that? Or do overseas teams already have their guys in the loop?
Now, I do think that once a coach coaches in the United States, or a great coach even overseas, wherever they're coaching at, if they're like a great coach and, you know, well recognized, I think them getting a job is easier, whether it's a coach that was in the United States and want to go overseas and coach, or because I've seen a lot of coaches overseas also come over here and coach, you know, NBA teams or D-League teams, and they've been very successful at it. And I think it's because they've built their rapport with their teams over wherever they are.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you this. As an agent, right, how important is it for you to have some strong connections, or is that something that you can establish along the way?
The connections need to be there before you do anything. Like, anybody that tells me they want to be an agent or, I want to represent players, I tell them, look, if you are not going into the business with connections, I wouldn't necessarily get certified just yet, because you're spending money on certification. Like, it costs money to be certified, and you have to keep renewing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're not willing to waste all of this money, because having connections is like, you're gonna make them along the way regardless. I'm hoping that you would make them along the way if you're an agent, but it's better to have them before you go in. You know what I mean? Like, before I became an agent, I worked 8 years with the Miami Heat. So I was building connections, and I learned the game of basketball the way I should. And I've been around pro players and all that type of stuff. So all of that's important before you even, get certified.
Wow. And so do you think that by you having that background with the Miami Heat, do you think that gives you a big advantage in terms of signing players?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of players look at the Heat as being, one of those well-known teams. They had championships under their belt. So when I say, I was there for 3 of those championships, a lot of people look to that as like, wow, you've been around really great players, as opposed to me having been around some sucky team, or or a team that don't really have that many franchise players. But I think working in basketball prior to me being an agent has helped me tremendously, because now that I'm older, and working in sports, I can look back and look at those people that I knew when I was younger and ask them for help now and tell them, I'm still working in sports. I use them as allies and as connections now. So it's definitely made it easier.
Okay. And let me ask you one more question about that. Is it true that some agents, and I emphasize the word some big, and I'm talking about the big time agents, do some of them play the blackmail game in terms of, okay, you want this guy to sign, then you got to do this for me, or you got to trade this guy, or you got to do blah 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 with another guy? Do they do some agents use that leeway that they have on organizations? To your knowledge, have you ever heard of something like that?
I've heard of it. I've never personally encountered it, but I've definitely heard of stuff like that, and even crazier stuff that goes down when it comes to like doing deals. Because even though we have a collective bargaining agreement, which basically protects the players against the agents, is like, it's still loopholes everywhere. And these agents, they really know how to like get to these teams, and they really know how to use these players to manipulate them and all kind of stuff. And they really know, how to really tweak the game. Like, seriously, like, and it's crazy. I've seen the craziest stuff, where agents are, tracking down players, or using what they call runners and all kind of stuff.
Okay. Great information. And I want to give you the opportunity for any prospective client right now that may be listening to this podcast and this interview, explain to them why should they allow you to represent them.
Well, it honestly is so easy. It's such an open thing. When I look at a player, let's say I'm with them now, I'll just tell them, hey, I am not the typical shark in a suit. When it comes to males, and when it comes to the typical agent, you think of this white guy, which is normally what it is. And I've seen that same white guy take clients and take their money, and you know what I mean? And look at T.O. right now. Like, T.O. was a fabulous football player, but he got jerked around, you know what I mean, when it comes to representation. Now, when it comes to me being a black female in this, I'm listened to more and more teams want to know what I have to say. More teams want to work with me. I've actually, at one point, I was kind of scared of that, that people would be super standoffish to me because I was a black chick. But now I use it to my advantage 100%, because
Mm-hmm.
They really want to hear what I got to say. They really want to listen. So when I call a scout about a player, man, that scout will drop everything he's doing to listen to me. It don't matter who the player is. They be like, oh yeah, I want to hear what she got to say. So now I feel like, you know, we're representing the player. That gets, I can get them in the door more than just the average agent at this point.
And I agree with that, because if I was an athlete, I'll be honest with you, I would lean towards a female before a male, because in my mind, I would think that the female would care a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I would look at a male as it's just business. Not saying it's not business with the female, but I think that they will really have my best interest at hand. I mean, that would just be my, you know, my assessment.
Females are more charismatic and more sensitive towards a lot of things. Where as far as males, like even with my partner, when something is going on with one of the clients, he's like, man, I ain't trying to hear it. But me, I'd be like, oh, really? Oh no, you know what I mean? They really want to talk to me more than him. They'll be like, no, I don't want to talk to him. You know what I mean? Because he ain't as sensitive as I am. So it works.
Exactly, and that's how we are as men. That's how we are.
It works in our favor.
Because we all got our own egos. So we be like, okay, you know, when you start bringing yours out, I'm going to bring mine out.
Right.
Finally, is there anything else you'd like to say to the listeners before I let you go?
No, I think that was pretty good. Nice, sweet, brief. I love it.
Okay, well, before I let you go, please tell people how can they find you.
Oh, man, I am on Twitter at Gilmore Danny. I am on Facebook as Danny Gilmore. My email address is DannyGilmore610sports@gmail. You know, that's the quickest way. Everything goes straight to my phone.
Okay, Danny. I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and I want to wish you continued success.
For the latest basketball news, interviews, blogs, and videos, go to bball-addicts.com. B-Ball Addicts covers the NBA, WNBA, college, and semi-pro news. So, when you think basketball, think of B-Ball Addicts. That's BBALLADDICTS.com. BBallAddicts.com.